Hello everybody, welcome back to the Football Martin channel, my pre-match preview of Southampton's away trip to Hull City coming your way. And I do have the usual, I have a special guest joining me. I have the inside look on all things Hull City. I'm joined by a friend of mine, Ant from the Hull and Back podcast. Ant's a massive Hull City fan and he watches them week in, week out. And I thought I'd get him on the show and gain a better insight into all things Hull City. What's happening? How did the summer unravel? The sacking of Ruben Sellers at the back end of last season and how their window went, because they did have a transfer embargo, but they've done some very, very good business. You will be quite surprised by what he has to say. I recorded the segment last night, and actually, after speaking to him, I feel this game has potential to be a real banana skin. A lot of fans tuning in will think this is a comfortable game that we will go and win, but actually, in fact, you look at their results over the last couple of weeks, yes, they've been a mixed bag, but for the game against Blackburn Rovers, they had a big illness in their camp. So Ant will give us a lowdown. He will give us that insight on Hull City. What can we expect as Southampton fans at the weekend? And he will also give us the lowdown on where to go for food, because he told me the food at Hull City Stadium at the MKM is absolutely out of this world. So he will give us a inside scoop on all things Hull City. It's over 500-mile round trip for any Southampton fan making their way to Hull tomorrow. I will be making that trip from here on the Isle of Wight. From my studio, I'm going to be getting up around 6:30 and heading off and meeting Controversial Chris and the gang. We've hired a minibus. We're taking turns in driving. Going to match day vlog it, all the travel, all the chat. We are going up to the MKM Stadium. We're going to watch Saints and we're going to travel back and do it all in one day. So I will bring you a really, really good insight into our day. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do get subscribed to the Football Martin channel. And if you want to support the channel and help me kick it on, I've got a brand new Patreon membership that I've just launched. There's some couple of new offers, and I am doing my Patreon at the moment for £3 to start with. The starting package I have is £3. It's a huge help for this channel. If you want to support in any way or form, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee, and it really does help me, and it does add up, and it's just all going back into investing in brand new kit. So if you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/footballmartin. The link is in the show notes below. Before we dive into my predicted lineup, I read an excellent article from George Rees-Julian this morning from the Southern Daily Echo, and he was speaking with Will Steele in his press conference yesterday about Kasper Jander, the 22-year-old signed for us a couple of weeks ago. And Jander, Will Steele said, has an ability to win the ball back without causing a big fuss. And that has pleased him most since he has begun his work with the young midfielder. He could potentially come into the starting lineup for tomorrow's game against Hull City. Flynn Downs looks like he's going to miss it. He is down with illness yet again, and it does look like he has some kind of issue with his stomach. It's been going on for some period of time now, and I think he will miss the game tomorrow. There are some doubts around Cameron Archer and his hamstring. He did train yesterday, Thursday, but that was away from the main group, according to Will Steele. But back to Jander, he said he's a clever player, sees the game really early, really quickly, and what has impressed me most is the way he actually wins the ball back without causing a big fuss. I like that headline. He also went on to say that Jander is a top player, and he pretty much said that he is better than a lot of what we already had at the football club. And that's the whole idea. We brought him into the squad, but he was very, very impressive from what he spoke about him. Only played 25 minutes at the weekend, and he said he literally never passed the ball to any of those players before that game at the weekend. But he's had a good week with the players still, and that would have only helped us. Ryan Fraser was with Adam Blackmore, BBC Radio Solent. I've listened to that one this morning as well when I woke up, and it was an interesting interview. It's well worth checking out. BBC Sounds, Adam Blackmore with Ryan Fraser, and Ryan Fraser very, very honest and open about the start of our season so far. I think he will start in the game tomorrow, though many people would probably not agree with my predicted lineup. which I think will be pretty close tomorrow. I think it's well worth popping it on the screen for you now, what I think the predicted lineup will be against Hull City tomorrow. I think the back four will stay the same. I don't see any changes there at all. I think Kasper Yander will come in central midfield. I think it's probably time. I think Downs was under a bit of pressure anyway. Shay Charles needs to start dominating games, really, because he hasn't done so far like he did at Sheffield Wednesday. But he will need to dominate the midfield in that 6 role without Downs in there. But with Yander, that will give us that ability to I think, to get up the field quicker. Finn Azaz, I think, will start in the 10. I think Fellows and Fraser will play off either flank. And I think it will be either Ross Stewart or Adam Armstrong up front. Yes, Adam Armstrong. I think he will play one of them tomorrow. I don't think Archer will play. Damien Downs, I don't see him starting in the game, but is it now time for Ross Stewart to have a run? Archer struggling with his hamstring injury. This is my predicted lineup for tomorrow. The 4-2-3-1 formation that still prefers. I think Fraser will definitely start. I don't see for 1 minute Fraser not making the 11 tomorrow. He's been one of our best players so far this season, if not our best player. Some people think he slows the game down sometimes, but I just think his work rate, his energy and the way he goes about things. You've then got Leo Sensor to bring off the bench. You've got Adam Armstrong to bring off the bench. You've got Cameron Archer, Damien Downs. I think the options from the bench are endless. I do believe that Joe Aribo will come back into the matchday squad tomorrow, just with the absence of Flynn Downs. If he's there and he's been paid, why not utilise him and make sure that he is available? Because if you get any injury to either Shay Charles or Kasper Yander, that will leave us a little bit exposed in midfield, in my opinion. So hopefully, still does include him in the matchday squad if he feels he's ready for it. Right, before we do bring in Ant from the Hull and Back podcast, I'm going to look at the form guide in for the season so far. So we've got a point more than Hull. They sit 20th, Saints sit 15th. Doesn't look great at this moment in time. Not much between the sides. They've lost a game more than us. We won our opening game, and then we've drawn, lost, drawn. And then Hull City drew their opening fixture against Coventry City. They then won their next game against Oxford United, lost 2 on the bounce, and they drew at the weekend against Swansea City. So average points per game, there's literally nothing in it at this time of the season. SofaScore is always a great one for statistics, and we were just looking a little bit closer this morning before I put this video together. Looked at the goals scored. Southampton with 6 goals. Hull have got 7. Goals per game, 1.4 at Hull. They've been scoring a few, but they've been letting a few in. Saints, 1.2 goals per game. Clean sheets, we've got the 1 each, and the ball possession, Saints edge it just slightly, but literally nothing in the two sides at this moment in time. We will find out who the danger men are and the danger players are ahead of this game very, very shortly when Ant joins me. Just having a little look back at a recent history against Hull City, and they definitely give us hell of a game last time round in February 2024. One of the best sides to visit St Mary's Stadium under Liam Rosenior. Saints lost on the night with a 2-1 defeat. And that memorable game in October when Ryan Fraser scored the late goal. It was the late show from Ryan Fraser, who went on a really good run after that, actually. Then he went and did the same at Millwall a few weeks later. But it was a good performance in that late 20 minutes. Remember the 20 minutes against Hull City? I wasn't there, but I remember watching it. And Saints were really good in the last 20 minutes. But you can look back against our record against Hull, and it is fairly decent. Lots of wins, and this goes right back to 2005, back to when we were in the Championship last time round. 2 draws there in October 25 and November 25. but there's more wins than there is losses or draws. Be interesting to see what your thoughts are on this one tomorrow. Give me all your score predictions in the comments box below. I'm now going to bring my interview with Ant from Hull and back. I sat down with Ant last night to record this segment. Hope you enjoy it and hope you gain some really good insight into what we can expect as Southampton fans tomorrow as we head to the MKM. It's an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. It's a very long time since we've spoken actually personally, and when I saw you off camera a minute ago, it was brilliant to have you here with me. So delighted to have a conversation once again. How are you first and foremost, and how's the podcast going?
I'm great. It's great to be on mine. It's great to see how your channel's grown. Your content's fantastic. So it's always a pleasure coming on as a guest. And yeah, life's good. Cracking on. Got a nice new job now, so just sort of settling into life, and then in the off-peak times where I'm meant to be resting, I'm getting stressed out by Hull City Football Club. So hopefully we'll delve into that one for you. So everybody strap in, because we've had a quite tumultuous couple of years.
It's been an interesting one. Are you an obsessive football fan? Do you just think about it all the time? Because I don't know about you, I go to work, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, when's the press conference? I'm looking on X. I'm obsessed, totally and utterly obsessed. Yeah,
it gets that. I think being indoctrinated into the football culture, especially from a young age, and it becomes everything. I mean, it gets to that point where, for example, if there's some, I don't know, Uzbekistan's second division football team on telly, I'll watch it. I'm not bothered who it is. If football is football, and I love keeping up with the news during the day. I'm going on X and looking up other teams, BBC gossip column, transfers, and all that kind of thing, and seeing what's going on. It's just, it's such a good. It's what everyone talks about as well. So when you go to work or you see someone in the street, what do you talk about? Who do you support, mate? And then that's it. You just get onto it, don't you? So football's massive, and it always will be.
Yeah, I'm just totally obsessed with it. I just can't stop thinking about it. It's crazy. I just think, is there something wrong with me? Am I going crazy or something? But
it's normal. It's normal.
Don't you find, and it's a good one for the viewers tuning in. It gives me these massive highs, but it gives me these incredible lows as well. When it's going well and you win a game, we played Wrexham at the start of the season, we won. I felt on cloud nine for about a week. It's just that winning feeling, you can't beat it. And then the weekend we played our rivals, Portsmouth, in a derby. It was so hyped, and then it ends up in a 0-0 draw. And it literally, I felt so flat and depressed for about 3 days. Literally, I felt depressed. We drew a game of football. What? I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this?
Yeah. It's you just you're so emotionally invested, especially when it's your own team. I mean, that the highs are so high, the lows are so low, and there's never a middle ground when it's the team that you support. It's just constant stress. And then, when people who aren't football fans, they just don't get it. If you ever get, say, a partner who isn't really into football, and they see how stressed out you get on match day and stuff, they don't get it, and they're like, it's just a game, but it's not. It's really not. It's so much more than that. It's a culture. It's a lifestyle. It is life for thousands upon thousands of people every single weekday, really, because football, let's be honest, it's not just Saturday anymore. It's Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's always football on. It's massive, and it's just like you say, you just get addicted, and that's it. You're stuck.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you alone, does it? It just doesn't leave you alone. It's it's addictive, that's for sure. Well, Saints take the long trip this weekend to Hull City. It's been a while since we visited Hull. Last time around in the Championship, couple of years ago. But Hull was a club since we played you. What's happened? Because viewers tuning in won't have known everything. You'll be able to give us that inside scoop. Last time we played you, a very, very good football inside under Liam Rossini at the time, playing some unbelievable stuff. So difficult to play against and get results against. What's happened since we last played you?
What hasn't happened, Martin? So obviously that season finished in a little bit of disappointment. We finished in 7th place, just outside the playoffs. The run of form that we had from January onwards wasn't good enough, and we ended up missing out on the top 6, even despite backing Rossini heavily in January with some really good signings like Cavallio and Anas Sarori, Ryan Giles, players like that. It just never seemed to. Something went wrong. I know, obviously, Liam Delap got injured for the vast majority of that season, which was a large part of it. We lost Philogene for a couple of months as well, so that's probably a large part of it as well. And you just got to think that we finished 3 points off, but had more or less just been in a relegation fight the season before. So that's still a success. And obviously the high profile decision to sack Rosenior at the end of the season, for whatever reason that was, the owner claims it was, in regards to style of play, which, possession football, I do think it's on its way out.
I agree with that. I think it's definitely had its day.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, I think there was a stat one of the X pages put up the other day about, the top 6 possession teams in the Championship the other week. None of them won. So it's just showing you, I think, that, fans, that style of play now has been found out, and I think it's contributing to poor atmospheres because it's slow, it's methodical, it doesn't take risks.
Boring, isn't it? Boring.
And you don't want to watch that instead. You guys will know more than most with Russell Martin being there, and it's. So I do think that, if Rosenior had just taken the shackles off a little bit of some of those attacking players, especially towards the end, that we might have just got over the line, but it wasn't to be. The owner decided to go down a different route, but you need to get that replacement right. We did not. We went rogue. We hired German Tim Walter, who had not particularly done that well. As a manager in his career, he'd struggled to get Hamburg, who probably were the biggest side by a stretch in the German second division, promoted. Played a really outlandish style of play. You sometimes had centre backs in the number 10 position kind of thing, and completely bypassing the midfield. It was all very odd. He had a bit of a friction. He didn't get on with the fans really ever either. He was very. He failed to take accountability for his style of play being the problem. It was always the fans at first. The fans weren't loud enough or getting behind him, and it was the players not being able to take to his system. And to be fair, I might be a little bit harsh to him as well, because in the summer we lost pretty much every single decent player we had the season before. We sold Philogene, we sold Greaves, Tufan left, Seri left. Obviously the Lap was on loan, he went back. So you got these fantastic Premier League standard players, and you were never ever going to replace them. And we took too long to try and bring those replacements in. I think it was, we didn't bring more. I think we had 3 players signed by the time the first game of the season rolled around. So we basically written off the first month of the season because we've not brought enough players in. We started on a bad foot. We had a style of play that's a bit crazy. Didn't have the players to do it, and then the season just was so long. Obviously, Tim Walter was sacked by, I think it was November time. The owner was actually going to keep him. It was only fan reaction in the stadium that convinced him to sack him at Sheffield Wednesday when we lost 2-0 at home. Then we brought in Ruben Sellers, who'd done really, really well at Reading. Obviously, with a team that had.
What were your thoughts on Ruben? What were your thoughts on him during his time?
I think there's 2 different Ruben Sellers that we had. Like when we first brought him in, it was very, very easy to be better than Tim Walter. He came in, he steadied the ship. We looked good, we looked solid. We struggled to score goals, but we understood that because we didn't have the players to do it. Even the decent players that we had managed to sign in the summer, like Mohamed Baloumi and Liam Miller, they had season-long ACL injuries. So we'd lost those 2. And then we brought in Louis Barry and Elliot Matazo, who were 2 fantastic players in January, and they got injured pretty quickly. Matazo, another ACL injury, and then Louis Barry did his knee ligament, so he didn't play, barring the 2 sub appearances he made. It was just we had no real attacking talent. We had Joe Gellart, we had an aging João Pedro up top. We had Mason Burster, who's he's a youngster and he's untested at this level really. He played for Sunderland the season before, but he wasn't their main striker. Brought in Carl Joseph for a big fee from Blackpool, but he'd only played in League One. So we didn't really have the attacking talent to take it to teams. So he made us hard to beat and to just try and pinch points, and we were doing that. Then up until the last international break of the season, we were really good. We went away to Sheffield United and won 3-0. We went away to Sunderland and gave them their first loss of the season at home. We looked good, and then something changed from when we came back after the international break. We just abandoned any form of entertainment and trying to win games. It was like he just wanted to draw his way over the line.
You did that at Saints. He did exactly the same with us. Played without a striker and things like this. Played false nines and just tried to almost stop the opposition and not look to how we were going to win a game.
Yeah, it was really frustrating because we were in a position where we could have 3 or 4 games before the end of the season secured safety. And we kept playing such negative, awful football that we were just giving games away. And I think the one where it turned really maybe gave Ajin, obviously our owner, the kick to get rid of him at the end, even if we did stay up, was when we played Derby at home, a win guaranteed safety, and probably resigned them to relegation. And we played utterly horrendous and lost 1-0. And it really put us in the mire, having to go to Pompey for the last game to go and get something, where they were really good at home as well. So it was a really frustrating end to the season. I would have been okay if similar with Rosini the season before, if we'd have kept him for the next season to start and go again. But I can, especially with hindsight now, with how he did at Sheffield United, you think,
a nightmare, didn't he?
But no, yeah, I think the Sheffield United job was always too much for him. I can't understand why he even got that role, to be fair. But no, he kept us up. He did a job, but I feel like there was always more from him, and we just never got it.
Yeah, it was a huge step from Sheffield United when it just way too big, and obviously the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
The summer, obviously, there was a transition change of manager. What about squad personnel as well? What happened in terms of the squad? Did you lose a lot of players? Have you brought players in?
Yeah. So the summer, we actually obviously started this season with a bit of optimism, thinking, right, we've stayed up. Let's use last season as an example of what not to do in future. We got rid of Sellers in similar fashion to how we did Rosini, where people were like, "Oh, I can't believe we got rid of him. He kept him up," kind of thing. And we went for Sergej Jurkovic, who's obviously he was rather unknown to, like, I didn't know who he was. But then when you look into his stats as a manager, he's managed. I think it's nearly 300 games now in his career, and he's got like a 55% win ratio. I think he averages at just under 2 points a game at most places he goes, which is a really, really good return. So he knows how to win games. So it was like one of those gambles you're kind of willing to take. And then we were slapped. You're thinking, right, here we go, back to the manager. Let's get some good players in. We were rumoured with Louis Barry, Lewis O'Brien, all these, fantastic championship standard players. And then we were slapped with a transfer embargo out of nowhere. There was no sign. I mean, there wasn't even any.
Is that still in place? That transfer embargo is still in place?
No. So we had a transfer embargo initially because we owed Aston Villa money in regards to Louis Barry's loan fee. But as soon as we paid that, the embargo was lifted. But because of the late payments and things like that, and the cash flow issues that the EFL seemed to think we had, they put us under a fee restriction. So we wasn't allowed to spend money. So we could still players, we just weren't allowed to spend a loan fee or a transfer fee on a player, so you had to bring him in for free, basically. And we still did fantastically well. I mean, when you're hit with that, you're thinking, God, this is we're going to finish 23rd, just above Sheffield Wednesday. But you know what? Credit to the recruitment team. We've had a fantastic transfer window. I think we've had probably the best window under this manager, under this owner, and we haven't spent a penny. It's been crazy. Maybe it's good for us in the long term. We was quite all right with it being extended because we appealed it, and it's still held for this window in January, so we can start spending again in summer. But no, we've done fantastically well. We've managed to keep hold of the players we wanted to keep hold of, like Charlie Hughes and Ivor Panda. We got rid of high earners that weren't really contributing, like Abdish Omer out on loan. We've sent Burstow out on loan to League One. He's doing really well at Bolton. So, you know, we've trimmed the wage bill down and brought in some real championship experience, you know, the likes of Semi Ajayi, John Lundstrom, Ollie McBurney. We've got a team that, you know, you're looking at and you're thinking, you know, people from the outside will look at us and go, fee restriction, relegation fight last season, bottom three. But when you actually look at the team, you go, oh, actually, they've got a really good team there. And if we can just keep players fit and get the system, which looks really good so far, proper under our wings, and the players understand it, and those connections form with all the new players, we'll probably be I would say a very safe mid-table team this season. I think we'll do okay.
Yeah. Bit of mixed bag, isn't it? So far, it's still early in the season. I think it's really hard to judge how the season's going to unravel, but it started off with a draw against Coventry, didn't it? And then it was a win against Oxford, a defeat at home against Blackburn, and Blackburn looked decent. It's the games are open. I saw you played Bristol City. That was away, 4-2 defeat, 2-2 draw last time round at Swansea. seem to be scoring goals, but letting a few in as well. What's the style of play been like? What's it been like to watch?
Oh, it's so much more entertaining. I mean, if the owner was getting rid of managers based on style of play and wanting to be entertained, then this season's going to be it. There's definitely going to be a lot of goals in every game, 2 and 4. 4 against, sorry. That 0-0 draw against Coventry on the first game of the season, judging by how many goals they scored afterwards, it looks really, really good now in hindsight.
Yeah.
And then obviously we beat Oxford. I mean, we were by far the better team in that game. They scored 2 really good finishes on the very few chances that they had, which made it look closer than it was. Obviously a last minute winner in that as well. Then we went the Blackburn game. We'd been hit the week before with a massive bout of illness. So I think sickness and diarrhea had swept the camp. And you could tell we had to shut the training ground. So you could tell the players had not trained or not done any preparation for that game whatsoever. They looked leggy. They were playing at 45%, and we got absolutely tonked 3-0. And you can kind of just look back and go, all right, well, I can understand why. The Bristol City game, 4-2, looks like a heavy defeat. You actually look at the stats, I think we had 22 shots as an away team. We were actually really good and probably worth something from the game. They were just more clinical with their chances. It was a very open end-to-end game, highly, highly entertaining game. And similar to the Swansea game, to be fair, we had more shots on target, more big chances, higher XG, everything like that. And we just come out on the end and with another last-minute equaliser. So it's just, like we say, they had 2 shots on target. They scored them both. And it was both from lapses of concentration in the defence. If we can just shore the defence up a bit and keep the threat going forward that we've had, because I think it's like 35 shots we've had in 2 games as an away team, which is crazy. So, yeah, the style of play is good. We set up in a way where we try and win the ball back as quickly as possible. We try and press high. And then when we've got the ball, it's actually a nice, refreshing change to not see us pass it around the back 4 for 10 minutes and then try and get it forward. We're actually, trying to lure teams into a press and then zip-zapping it up the pitch as quick as we can, utilising Ollie McBurney's hold-up play, getting fast, tricky wingers out on the right and sticking the ball in the box as often as we can. It's what you want to see as a fan. You're creating chances. It's entertaining. Yeah. It leaves us a bit open on the back, but we are missing a couple of key players in injuries now. So I think the midfield at the minute is struggling with missing Matt Crooks. He's a vital cog to that, and he's going to be a big miss for the Southampton game. But we're seeming to get prime Ryan Giles back as well. He's been absolutely garbage for us since signing from Luton this season. Looks completely revitalised, gets forward, practically plays as a left winger, sticks in some delicious balls in the box for McBurney. So yeah, it's I like this style, and I do think that once the team settles and, like I say, all those connections form and the system really beds in, I think we'll be a really, really good team. And I think a lot of people underestimate us this season.
Yeah, when you look at what's be available the weekend, you spoke about the injuries, but who do you see really hurting Saints at the weekend? Who should we be concerned of? Like, I'm going to the game, I'm going to be there. Who should I be watching and worried about?
Do you know what? Ollie McBurney is probably our main one at the minute. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists in 6 games. He's been that vital cog, the striker that we've needed for a long time, since we lost the lap. He holds up play, he links up really well. He's a constant goal threat. If you're sticking the ball in the box, he could be on the end of it pretty much every time. And he's a proper wind-up merchant as well. He's a nightmare for defenders. He could get you a couple of yellow cards. He might get a yellow himself, but he don't mind. He's one of those players you hate to play against, but you love having in your team. So he's probably the obvious danger man. But one I'm hoping starts against Southampton, and the one that we've missed, I mentioned him earlier, obviously he got an ACL injury last season, was Mohamed Baloumi. Easily our best player by far last season. He's a phenomenal, tricky, flair Algerian winger.
Which side does he play on? Which wing does he play?
He's a right winger, so he cuts in. He's a left-footed right winger, so he cuts inside. He's had a year off with an ACL injury, but he's back. He's had a couple of sub appearances now. He seems to be getting up to speed of things. He played in one of the reserves games and scored a hat-trick, I think. And then he's had now the 2 weeks in the international break. I'm hoping that he can start alongside Andala, who's another very promising youngster we've got on loan from Man City on the other side. I'm hoping he starts and at least maybe has an hour or so in him before they hook him off. But he once fully fit and can recapture his form at the start of last season, he's a phenomenal player. So I'm hoping he starts and showcases how good he can be. So I'd keep an eye on them too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. The last time we played you was back in February 24. You beat us on the night as well, down at our place. It was a
good game,
it was good. I remember being really impressed with Hull on the night. You beat us 2-1, and it was a tight game at your place as well. And Ryan Fraser scored really late. There was a huge amount of time added on, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And he scored late in the game, so that the games were close. When you look at Southampton, a team that's won very few games in the last year or so, one of the worst teams probably in Premier League history. It's a massive rebuild going on. We're trying to settle back into the Championship and find some rhythm. Do you see it playing us early in the season as a good thing? Do you see it as a good time to play us?
100%. I was saying this to someone at work today. I said that Southampton fans seem a little bit wary of Will Still at the minute. I think the transfer window probably wasn't the best for you guys. I look at the team and I'm not seeing a standout goal scorer. I know the XG.
Cameron Archer's struggling for the weekend as well.
Yeah.
Cam Archer's struggling. He's got a hamstring. Flynn Downs misses the weekend by looks of it. He's ill again. I've never known a bloke be ill so much, but he's ill again. So another big midfielder out, and we don't have loads of central midfield. There isn't an out and out replacement for him.
Yeah, it seems like when you've come down, you've not really utilised that sort of, we could be a parachute team that can bounce straight back up low to bring in some really, really good Championship standard players to do that instant bounce back. And like I say, I watched the Pompey game, obviously I watched the derby.
Dreadful. What were your thoughts on the Pompey game? Terrible, wasn't it?
It was a poor watch, wasn't it? It's one of them, and it's the first derby in a while. Both teams didn't want to lose. I think it was neither wanted to really take that gamble and be on the receiving end of a sucker punch or something like that. It was just a safe derby, wasn't it? I'd imagine the one at the Pompey's ended towards the end of the season will be a bit better, but no, it was a poor game. But I watched that and I'm thinking, I'm looking back at our games and thinking, where can we hurt Southampton? And I do think in that wide area with Ryan Giles especially, putting the balls in the box, I don't think Southampton want to be dealing with someone like McBurney in the middle. You've got Joe Gellite who can be picking up the pieces in the number 10 position as well. He's always a goal threat.
I worry about us out wide at fullback. I worry about our fullbacks.
Yeah.
I was a bit unsure about Roslev's performance at the weekend, and I took a bit of stick for saying what I thought, but from what I saw, I don't think he played very well. I hope he improves quickly, but he looks like a player that doesn't have any confidence, and he'd be sort of a player that I think what Hull will be looking at and can we get up against the Southampton right back and cause him problems?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. I think that's probably what our scouts will have said the same thing. I think it's hard because Southampton, Leicester as well, Ipswich as well have started the season quite poorly. I think it's hard to shake off that sort of losing mentality when you're used to not winning week upon week. Even if you do bring new players in, the culture is there's still that eerie little feel in the changing room kind of thing. And I think Southampton are currently going through that. It's like that you've forgotten how to win games and how to control games and be in that sort of upward momentum. You need that win to kickstart your season, like Ipswich might have just had with Sheffield United with a nice convincing 5-0 win. Southampton need a good win. Hopefully that's not against us. but I do think Southampton, I think the words I said earlier to my mate at work was Southampton are there for the taking at the minute. And I'd much rather play them now than hopefully when later on, maybe November, December time, when you've got a couple of wins under your belt and you're starting to run. So I'm looking at this game and thinking, this is when we're going to get something from Southampton, if at any time this season.
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I thought that about the derby last week. If there was ever a time for Portsmouth to play us, it was last week, and it played out what I thought it would probably play out. Like it was always going to be cagey. I think this is going to be a good game. I think the game between Hull and Saints at the weekend, I think it could be quite open. I think there'll be goals. I think we are vulnerable. We've gone through a phase where we're just like there's a lot of trauma, and he still keeps talking about it. The trauma in the camp, and already the fans, there's a bit of pressure on him. He needs to go and get a result the weekend. If he doesn't, I think it builds, and it's not fair at this stage to put so much pressure on him. Hopefully, the fans go easy on him if he doesn't get the result desired at the weekend. I don't see it being an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. I can't call it. When I think about it, if we talk about score predictions and how it might go, I can't call it, and that's how I feel about the game. It could genuinely
be any of the three results. There's a good justification that we're so leaky that Southampton's quality shines through and you comfortably beat us. It could be quite a cagey goal draw. It could be a boring 0-0 because we cancel each other out, and then we could exploit Southampton's current sort of vulnerable state and come out with a win. There's genuinely a justification for any result in this game. It's one of those.
Yeah. What's the atmosphere been like at home?
It's good. It's good. I think the transfer window and how likable Jakirovic as a manager and how well he speaks, I think is a big part of it. Because I think as a football club, we've acknowledged the mistakes that we made last season and how we don't want to be in this kind of situation again. So I think it's kind of rallied the fans and united them, because we've had quite a disjoint, in the fan base lately. But I think because of the fee restriction and how, we've had to sort of piece together this team with free transfers and how the players really do run themselves into the ground and work hard, and how the manager seems to have bought into, the football club and the fans and how much he loves them, it's kind of created this unison thing. I think we want to be better at home. We've been so poor at home the last 2 years. It even started under Rosinia. And we just want to have a decent home season this time around. The Oxford game was fantastic. The Blackburn one obviously was quite drab because we lost 3-0 and the players were ill. But I think this one, especially if we start on the front foot, I think the fans will be really behind them. But no, there is a sense of optimism this season, which is weird, probably hearing from the outside, because we look like a total mess from the outside. But it's kind of bonded us together, I think.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it probably as what many are thinking. And how do you say? Yeah, you don't have to give me a score prediction. I'm not going to do a score prediction for this game because I can't call it. do you feel you'll win it? Do you think you'll edge it?
I think we can. I just don't know if we will. But that's me with every single time we play this season. I don't know what version of us. If we can just shore up the defence, we can probably give anybody in this league a game. It's just that how leaky we are at the minute that concerns me. But like we say, I think Southampton have got currently the highest XG in the league, and we've got like fourth.
Just can't score.
So on paper, it could be an absolute goal fest. So I'm just hoping for a good performance. I mean, if we lose narrowly, Southampton at the end of the day are a really good team, and probably will be in the mix to go back up this season. So you couldn't be too disheartened by it. But if we've taken the game to Southampton and more than matched them, you can take those positives into going into the next game. But it's something I think we can get something from. I mean, if I was to put money on something, I think we're definitely not keeping a clean sheet. But I think it'd be a 2-1 if we were to win. So yeah, I'm gonna go for 2-1, Martin. We'll come on your channel and predict to win.
Yeah, go. I'm not predicting anything because I'm going to taper my expectations on this season massively. While you're here, just a quick chat upon the championship this season. I kind of feel like it's a bit more wide open this year. I don't see anybody running away with it. I think the playoffs are all up for grabs. The relegated sides at this moment in time, let's be honest, they've not really set the world alight. How are you seeing the season?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I thought Ipswich would come down and walk the league.
I did.
They've come down and struggled. I mean, they haven't really lost games. They've just been they've just not really got into the groove, have they? But I think that Sheffield United game might have sort of reignited the season for them. I expected Southampton to be up there. Leicester, I thought would struggle. I think they are at the minute. They don't have any real goal scoring threat either, do they? Like Daka, he's not a brilliant player. They've got promising player in Monga. They've got Fatu and Mavididi that are always good at this level. But outside that, I don't see them being like title contenders or anything. They might be playoff, I would think. So yeah, for the three relegated sides, that's probably them. Then you look at Cov and Middlesbrough, who have started on absolute fire.
Good, don't they?
And Millwall, who are kind of like surprise packages as well. And then the bottom of the league, you probably would expect, and everyone would understandably so, have Sheffield Wednesday 24th, given what's going on there. And then
sad, isn't it? Sheffield Wednesday is a sad situation. Great club, isn't it? We know Wednesday fans. It's just I remember sitting in the Prem with Di Canio and they were superb, weren't they? And then to see where they are now, it's really sad.
It is sad. It's sad for like the people that work at the football club that could potentially be losing livelihoods and that kind of thing, and the players that aren't being paid. And there's a very small amount of sympathy from us as City fans, because when we went through it with our previous owner, Sheffield Wednesday fans used to laugh at us, and they still do to this day when we used to boycott games and stuff. So there's a little bit of we told you so karma about this, but you don't want to see a club go under. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them play in League Two for a few years. That'd be okay, but you don't want to see a club go out of business. Never. But no, I do think Wednesday are in trouble. I just can't see a way that they get out of the situation they're in, unless sold. And I don't think anyone's going to pay the kind of money that Chinsiri wants for a football club like that. He's 100 million he wants. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts, isn't it? It's absolutely nuts.
I think Oxford
who do you think? Yeah, they do, don't they? They're struggling, aren't they?
Yeah, and then outside of that, you don't know, because I had Preston down to struggle this season. Started really well. The Championship's just crazy. And this season, I think it's going to be one of those that the last season, the standard was really poor. And this season, I think it's pretty much a level playing field. I think in terms of squad, Ipswich have by far got the best. But I think outside of that, I mean, Sheffield United as well. I mean, 6 losses.
Yeah, it's a real surprise, isn't it? It's been a real surprise at how poor they've been.
Yeah.
Well, it's a strange one, them reappointing Wilder as well. It's a bizarre move, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost comical at this point, isn't it? It's the third time. Yeah, he obviously loves the club. He's a Sheffield United fan, isn't he? But I mean, if I'd have been sacked by him 38 days prior for basically nothing after getting them 92 points, and then they came crawling back because that decision came back to haunt them pretty quickly, I'd probably go tell them to get stuffed. But if it was Hull City that had done that, I'd probably, I'd go back as you might probably would with Southampton. It's just one of those, isn't it? But it is strange, very, very odd situation. It's almost like he just had a little extended summer holiday.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see if he can properly turn them around. We know Wilder's a good manager at this level, but can he sort of stop that rot pretty quickly? Because they've probably put themselves out of automatic contention already. So we'll have to try and chase the top 6. But no, it's a very, very open league. And I think that...
Yeah, it is. I think it's been good.
A lot of teams will be looking at that league table and going, you know what, I fancy us this year. And why not? We might see a couple of surprises. Yeah,
I've never been to Hull the weekends. It's my first visit ever to Hull, but my first visit to the stadium
you'll love the food, Martin. You'll love the food.
Is it good? What do you recommend? So there's loads of Saints fans tuning in. There'll be plenty here. Where do we go for food if we're coming to Hull the weekend?
Stadium.
What's the top tips?
The stadium. So we've got like we've had award-winning food served at our stadium. We've got these street food.
Is that inside or is it around the perimeter?
In the stadium concourse. Yeah.
Is it?
You want to get there nice and early because they sell out pretty quickly. It's like
what's on offer? What do they do? What is there?
So they've got like chicken katsu curry boxes. You've got barbecue pulled pork loaded fries, all that kind of thing. It's the menu honestly is ridiculous. I think at one point we had even apple pie at some point. I think
apple pie.
It's mega. Our menu. It's one of the best. We used to laugh and joke last season as Hull City fans because we were so poor at home. We were the best away day in the league because we had cheap away tickets. You'd probably come here and win, and you'd have fantastic food. So it would be all around just an absolutely brilliant day out, and it's fairly priced as well. You're looking at about 6, 7, 8 quid, which is what you'd normally pay at a football ground, but it's top tier scran. So yeah, you'll like the food. I'll expect a message at some point saying, "Yeah, mate."
You will. You'll get a message. I'm going to clip this up and put it out across my my channels for any Saints fan going because the Matt Stadium you go to and the food's absolutely naff. Oh, yeah. Well, you're lucky if the hot dogs are Frankfurter and stuffed in a roll and they've just punched a hole in it. They're disgusting.
Yeah. Or like when you get chips and they've just put a slice on top of it.
Manky chips and just some of the food and crap sausage rolls, and it's just ridiculously priced at a lot of these grounds, and no one actually gives a shit. Does my head in it. So I am looking forward to that. So it's a long trip, isn't it? It's a long way for us to go as a Saints fan. So there's some good food on offer at the end of it. Hopefully there'll be a good result on the end of it as well for Saints fans. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you. It's been too long. It's been great to have you on the channel. If for any Southampton fan that wants to get a bit of reaction at the end of the game at the weekend, it's always good to go and check out the opposition's view. How do we do that, Ant?
Yeah, so I'm part of a Hull City podcast called To Hull and Back. You probably have to put To Hull and Back podcast in for your searches because there is an Only Fools and Horses episode called To Hull and Back, so you'll probably get that if you don't put it, which is obviously where we got our name from. We are on YouTube, so we do live episodes on a Sunday. And if you're not a video watcher, we're on your usual audio platforms like your Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is you get your podcasts. We're on there. Just search Hull and Back podcast. We appreciate any follows, any subscribes, any comments. Like we welcome any opposition fans, and we try and stay as neutral as possible. Being Hull City pod, I do think some opposition fans do jump in sometimes, especially Cov fans, and they do enjoy it. So yeah, hop over, give us a follow, let us know what you think, and come laugh at us if we lose. We don't mind.
I'm going to leave links to Ant's podcast in the show notes below so you can go give them a follow and absolutely recommend that you do so. I'm a subscriber and a follower of everything that Ant does. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you here with us today. Thank you, mate.
No, pleasure being on, Martin. It's nice, like you say, nice to catch up. It's been too long.
It's been too long.
Again later on in the season, mate. I'll come see you at the stadium actually because I'll be there. So
I'll come and find you. Yeah, that'd be class. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you, mate.
Yeah, you too.
And a massive shout out to Ant. Thank you, Ant, for joining me on the channel. It was an absolute privilege and pleasure to have your time. We had a good chat on and off camera before we started last night and when we finished as well. And it was really good to get an insight into Hull. I would say that they're feeling quite confident about playing us right now. It's a real banana skin type game, this, because we really need that win. They, being at home, I think for them, would fancy themselves. I think for us, the pressure's off actually going away from home. I'm actually quite looking forward to getting on the road with the Saints, getting on the road with the away fans, but I actually think it will take the pressure off Saints. I'm finding it really hard to do score predictions at the moment because I don't want to over-edge things and be cocky, but then I don't want to be too negative. So I'm really struggling to come up with a score prediction, but I'm going to let you guys get involved in the comments box below. Give me all your score predictions. How do you see this one unraveling? Would love your opinions. Would love your thoughts. And if you want a bit more Football Martin Southampton content, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you do smash a like on the video. Hit that notification bell on the YouTube home screen, and you will be notified of any videos that I put out over this weekend. Instant reaction video will be out after the final whistle tomorrow. Will probably be within the first hour, depending on internet. We are traveling, so we're not guaranteed Wi-Fi. You just never know what it's going to be like at that situation. I'm reporting and bringing content from the terraces. I'm not a reporter sat in the press boxes with all the access to all the gear, all the internet. It doesn't work like that for me. So it is very much on the fly and what I can do at that given moment. But instant reaction video across all my platforms, you can see that, like I say, within an hour of the final whistle, and there'll be a match day vlog which will go out at some stage on Sunday, and I will get and do a live stream over the weekend, but you just need to stay tuned to my social media platforms at FootballMartin _ right the way across Facebook, Instagram, you name it, I am there. You will find me. All the links to my social media channels are in the show notes below. Thank you very, very much for tuning in, and I will see you again in my match day vlog tomorrow.